Today we're going to talk about a man who truly changed the world. A man whose voice, from jail cells to massive podiums, literally reshaped a nation. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're going to trace the journey that forged his incredible philosophy and cemented a legacy that, let's be honest, we're all still inspired by.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This quote really gets right to the heart of everything he stood for. For Dr. King, you couldn't just stand by and watch injustice happen. It demanded a response. And his entire life, really, became about breaking that silence.
So the big question is, how did he decide to break that silence? He did it through a powerful, revolutionary idea: nonviolent resistance. The concept is kind of simple, but wow, is it powerful. You confront hate and discrimination with peaceful defiance, with marches, with boycotts. You never ever stoop to the level of your oppressor, no matter what they throw at you.
But where does that kind of conviction come from? Well, to really understand the man, you've got to understand the world that made him. And it all starts in his formative years.
So picture this: January 15th, 1929. Martin Luther King Jr. is born right here in Atlanta, Georgia. And he's born into a world that is deeply, deeply segregated. We're talking about a place where racial prejudice wasn't just some unspoken social rule, it was the actual law of the land.
And for a young kid, segregation wasn't some abstract political concept. It was personal. It was painful. He felt that sting firsthand when he was just a boy, told he couldn't play with his white friends anymore for no other reason than the color of his skin.
You could tell from a young age that this kid was brilliant. He was a prodigy, really. I mean, he started college at Morehouse when he was just 15 years old. Think about that. By the time he's 19, he's not only graduated with the degree, but he's also an ordained minister. And his time in seminary, that's where he really started to forge the ideas that would, change history.
Then, in 1953, he marries Coretta Scott. She was an amazing partner for him, his partner in life and in the struggle that was to come. So here you have this man, building a family, right on the cusp of becoming one of the most important figures in American history. And then came the moment. The event that would launch him onto the national stage. The moment a 26-year-old pastor from Atlanta answered the call and became a leader.
Okay, so the scene is Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, and the spark that lit the fire was the incredible courage of Rosa Parks. She's arrested because she refuses to give up her bus seat to a white man, and that one act of defiance, it just ignited the city's black community.
So the community organizes. They decide to boycott the entire bus system. But for a movement like that to work, you need a leader. And who do they choose? A 26-year-old pastor who was president of the Montgomery Improvement Association, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Now, the pushback was immediate, and it was violent. This wasn't some polite disagreement. This was dangerous, life-threatening stuff. His own home was bombed, his family was targeted, all because he dared to lead.
And yet, and this is just incredible, on the very night his house was bombed, with an angry crowd gathered outside, Dr. King stands on his porch and tells them to be peaceful. At the exact moment when everything could have exploded into violence, he doubles down, insisting we must meet hate with love.
So from a local leader in Montgomery, he was becoming something much bigger, the conscience of a nation. This is the time when his voice reached its absolute peak.
This is the March on Washington in 1963. Just look at that crowd. Hundreds of thousands of people all gathered in the nation's capital in a massive, totally peaceful demonstration to demand civil rights and real equality.
And it was right here on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial that he gave the speech that would echo for all time. Just 4 words: I have a dream. It became the anthem of the entire movement, a vision of what America could and should be.
And the world was definitely listening. The very next year, Dr. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his unshakable commitment to nonviolence. This was global recognition that he was leading not just a protest, but a moral revolution.
But of course, the story doesn't end there. The final and most tragic chapter of his life is what would give rise to his truly enduring legacy.
On April 4th, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee, Dr. King was assassinated. The nation just erupted in grief and anger. You see the chaos in the headlines, and then you see the peace in the words on his tomb, words from his own speech: free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.
Immediately after his death, riots broke out in over 100 cities. But in time, the nation chose to honor his work. In 1986, his birthday became a national holiday. And that's a rare, rare honor. He's one of only 2 individuals, along with Christopher Columbus, to get their own U.S. holiday.
And what's really important is the spirit of that holiday. It's not supposed to be just a day off. The whole idea is that it's a day on, not a day off. A day that calls on all of us to honor his legacy by getting out and serving our communities. So, we'll end with his own words turned back to us. His legacy isn't just in statues or history books. It lives on in this really simple but incredibly powerful question that he asked all of us. And it's a challenge that's just as urgent today as it was back then. What are you doing for others?